Warning! We are about to spoil Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. If you haven't seen these movies, then I recommend you go watch them. If not, then just watch us. Right, it's almost been 5 months since we've watched Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. What do you remember, Justin?
Ryan Gosling's in it?
Perfect. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Roulette. We're here, and Justin, this is going to be an interesting one, because Justin does not remember much from these movies.
Yeah, okay, so welcome back to our December episodes, where hopefully all of these have been on time.
All of them.
All 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so we recorded most of them in July. We saved this one because of the last movie we're doing, which broke us too emotionally to actually do it.
And we'll explain that actually in the Star Wars review. I know you explained that.
So. Yeah, so we've already explained it.
Well, no, this comes out beforehand, doesn't it?
Does it? I forget.
Yeah, no, because that's not till December. This will come out before that.
Oh, I'm so confused. I forgot what timeline we were using.
We're in the other timeline, damn it.
But anyway, it's November.
And we watched these in July.
Yeah. So, I don't remember much of 2049. And we'll explain that in a bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this is going to be very Cameron heavy, led heavily by Cameron. Wow, words are good.
They are very good, especially when you can use them
properly.
Yes.
But sadly, I'm here.
So yes, this is
and I have fucking pauses.
This is a back-to-back review of Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049.
And a slight talk on remakes in general.
Yeah. Right, so let's just get right into it. The original Blade Runner from 1982. So this was directed by Ridley Scott, and it's one of the most famous sci-fi movies of all time. I'll get into afterwards why, like, it was, it has, like, it's infamous for having a million different versions.
Hey!
What?
Hey!
What?
Which cut are we watching?
The final cut.
You sure?
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
I know.
Okay.
I don't know what. Okay, continue.
You were too satisfied with that, weren't you?
Yes.
All right, so I was just about to say, like, there are many different versions, but the version we watched is Ridley Scott's preferred version, and the only one he really had complete creative control over, which is the final cut. So we're going by that. So this movie follows Harrison Ford, who is a Blade Runner in the future. And what Blade Runners are, because this is a world where humans made robots called replicants, and they made them to, like, look and act and be just like them. And they want them to be obviously very complacent in this society. So it starts out, it opens with, like, someone doing, I think it's called a Voight-Kampff test or something like that.
Yeah.
And like, it opens with
Justin says, yeah, completely not remembering.
Yeah. You're talking like I would know the answer, Cameron.
I'll act like I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to be the tour guide of this episode.
Right. I'll be whispering in your ear the whole time. So a Voight-Kampff.
My Kampf.
But it opens with someone doing the test on a replicant, and this is supposed to, like, determine if they're replicants or not, like, whether they can calmly, collectively answer these questions without, like, flipping their shit. And so it turns out that this guy is in fact a replicant, and he just gets up and straight up murders this guy. So
as any child would do when taking a standardized test.
Exactly.
So it's a bit hard to tell at times.
Man, this movie's aged actually better than I thought it would. But so they get up, and of course they do. Thanks, brain. So what happens is, it turns out that there's 4 of these replicants running around, and they're trying to, like, kill a bunch of humans because they escaped from, like, some mining planet, and now they're forming, like, a rebellion to try to
Wasn't the mining planet Mars?
something like that. I think it was. Yeah, it was off planet in the movie because they
I
kept.
know it was close.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, they're all the way in fucking Uranus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they had that famous ad that kept saying, "Go to the off-world colonies."
Yeah.
Um,
And then Spike Spiegel came in.
You're right.
I was gonna say comes in, and my brain broke.
Good job. Yeah, it's been doing that a couple times already tonight.
Yep. Hold on. I think it's been way too long since we've done.
You're fine. And so Harrison Ford, who is an ex-Blade Runner, the company basically forces him to come back in and says, "Yo, hunt these guys down." And so it gets into this whole and again, that's pretty much the plot. This one, because this one relies more on like the atmosphere and inducing almost like a dreamlike state than actually focusing on the plot. And so he goes and hunts these, and some of them get killed off pretty quickly. But we find out that the replicants, all they wanted to do was like find a way to live longer, because the humans, they programmed these replicants to have a finite amount of time. Because so
I think it's like 5 or 3
4 or
years.
5 years or something like that. Yeah. And just so like because obviously they can think just like us, they didn't want them to get too smart. They only wanted them to live so long, and then they kind of just shut down.
Plus, you're a bit more complacent when you're going to die. So
yeah, exactly. And so these guys, that's the whole reason, because they show the I forget his name. But yeah, they show like the Asian guy who was the master who like made all these, and he goes and he tries to like find an answer to that, and he ends up killing him. And I forget how exactly it leads into this, but basically, because it has the gray-haired guy. I forget. I should look up the cast list. Hold on.
which one are we talking about? Are we talking about the one who owns all the creepy puppets?
No. I'm talking about like the main replicant bad guy, like the guy with the white hair.
Damn it! I was gonna make a lead singer joke, but I don't know of which band to make fun
of. Probably like
he looks like the lead singer of a 2000s edgy band. Yeah. Honestly,
let me see. Cast. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Roy Batty. That's it.
Wait, the actor's name is that, or that's the name of the
character's name? The guy's name is Rutger Hauer. I knew that.
His last name is Batty?
Yeah, Roy Batty.
Who's the bad guy in the movie? Roy Batty. Fucking hell, name team.
Really? You remember like the guy in the suit that like made the eyes?
Yeah.
Like his name is Hannibal Chew.
Wow, very clever naming, guys. Fucking hell.
I didn't realize those were so dumb. I guess it's so well done, they don't really linger on their names.
They probably only say it once. And then...
Yeah. Okay, so Roy Batty, who's the bad guy's name we just found out, played by Rutger Hauer. He's cool in this, but yeah, freaking Roy Batty. He's the guy. He's the main antagonist I was trying to remember. And then there's also this little love story between him and Rachel, of course, like the girl. She's basically, because there's this. Again, this is a hard movie to describe just because it really doesn't focus on the plot. It's more on like
the feeling in the sci-fi world that wasn't run into the ground at this point.
Yeah, exactly, and like all the existential themes it has, like life and shit. So.
Yep, life usually does come up with the existentialism.
So eventually, like, because they end up like, because him and there's another the girl who who paint her face like a doll and shit. They befriend this like doll maker, and like it's this really like these really creepy dolls that come out and shit. And
yeah, that was on. I think I remember when we first got there. It was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like the two little dolls march in, like, hey, it's this time. It's like, oh my god,
this needs to stop.
But yeah, they befriend him, and it actually lends for like a really visually really cool looking like place, because there's like this It's like this factory like littered with the toys he's made, and so eventually Deckard finds out where they're hiding and corners them, and there's this big fight scene. He kills the one chick and then has this big face off with him and Roy Batty, and then I can't take
I can't get over the bad guy's last name.
Yeah,
It's fucking Batty.
That's like in Fantastic Four. His name is Doom. Gee, I wonder who the bad guy is.
The Thing, obviously.
Yeah. But, no, that's the thing. And I'm just trying to, I feel bad. I'm kind of just going, and then this, but it's,
that's the plot.
I know, it kind of is. And it's beautifully done, and I feel like I'm not doing it justice, because the way, like, how the final battle is and like his final Tears in the Rain speech and how all that is done is beautiful, honestly. And again, it's just a hard movie to describe because it focuses a lot on the atmosphere, because like I know you point out too, there's not really many transitions between the scenes.
Yeah, not really. It was mostly just like you're here and moving on.
Yeah, I more induced to like a dreamlike state, but yeah, this is a groundbreaking science fiction film, honestly, and the effects honestly still hold up really well today for a film made in 1982.
Yeah, I can't remember anything that was like, oh wow, that looks fake nowadays. It was all pretty good, mostly because practical effects look good.
Yeah, because he used practical effects in like miniature sets. It wasn't just, CG.
Let's use CG on everything. Yeah, go ahead. Watch movies from like late 90s, early 2000s. It looks great still, guys.
Yeah. But no, I think that's honestly all I can say about the plot. But the movie itself...
Except Jurassic Park, that does still look good.
Yeah, that does. Well, yeah, because that was the first CG movies ever. The one first to use like major like that. Because Spielberg was like, yo, let's make this look good.
Then again, only 15 minutes of footage are actually CG.
Yeah, as I say, he did this thing and mixed it with practical effects.
Different tangent, though.
Yeah, different tangent we shouldn't get on, but that's basically the plot. But and I know it's really simplistic, like rogue robots, go find them and kill them, but the way it's handled and the way like the characters develop and you find out more about the replicants and more about like Deckard and stuff, it's just fascinating how it's done, and it's done in a beautiful manner. And again, I just that's all I can say about that. What about you?
I'm trying to think, because one thing that is surprising to me is even though Blade Runner, I'm going to say inspired when other movies blatantly ripped off its future, but it still felt new when it still felt lively when watching Blade Runner. It wasn't something tired.
Yeah, like it was a dark post-apocalyptic society, but it still had like bright. It was something different other than just rain and darkness.
Yeah, like it seems most movies just go, okay, we'll throw neon colors up and everything else is in shadow and everything's terrible. This movie, it felt like an actual city. It wasn't just like we're on a set in the future.
Yeah, no, because it had like different aliens and stuff walking around, and like he was at like this local food market, and they used like different sets too. It wasn't just the rainy exterior. They like for the interior for the Tyrell Corporation, they had like that like yellow room with like the windows that came down and the sun was there. It was beautiful.
Yeah, the film is wonderfully shot.
Yeah, because I mean Ridley Scott, he does make beautiful looking films, so.
And sometimes we just have to send a woman through a window because fuck me.
Are you talking about the one where like he shoots her through several windows?
Yeah, when he gets the dancer.
Yeah, he gets the exotic dancer because she's wearing like this clear plastic uniform. He shoots her and she just runs through like 5 panes of glass before finally falling down.
Yeah, after getting shot in the fucking back. Like, Jesus Christ,
the gore
guys.
in this is actually really good too. But yeah, it's great because it still holds up today, and like you said, it's inspired countless clones to the point where it's just boring to look at. But
where it's like, okay, what are we going to do for the future? Are we going A, everything is Apple, or B, everything is terrible?
Yeah, because it's like that was the thing. Yeah, because it's like Blade Runner. It's like this dark. I'm trying to get my train of thought here, because it's either
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, cyberpunk. But yeah, because you're right. It's either like everything's shit and terrible, or everything's like bright, shiny, chromy.
But secretly evil.
Yeah, something like that.
The only movie that doesn't do that is Her, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you told me that was an interesting sci-fi future, but again, another tangent for another time.
Look up Captain Christian. That's both with K's. He does a very good video essay on Her.
Okay, you guys can do that too.
That's who I was telling to. I don't care about you.
Fuck you, but
Up yours.
But yeah, that's the thing, and Justin, I know you lament all the time that like, oh, you're just copying Blade Runner again.
It's so well because they don't add anything. Like I said, it's just sort of like they take the style of it, put it on there, and then it's like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, they don't do anything with it. Like this one, it felt alive, and it felt like, you know, because the backstory and everything, like the future and all that of humanity and stuff, it felt like it fit, honestly.
Yeah, and I will be honest, I don't remember much of this one either, but I remember it more than 2049.
Yeah.
I just remember enjoying it more. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, well, because again, the original's Blade Runner is only an hour and a half normal length. So,
That's also a very nice thing instead of near 3 hours.
Yeah. Which again, I still
also,
like that.
Oh
no, go ahead.
Also, quick side tangent. Why in Life is Strange is this their favorite movie to watch together?
Okay, so if you haven't played Life is Strange,
I'm not going to explain why they're watching or whatever, but later on in the game, Max and Chloe sit down to watch their favorite movie, which is Blade Runner.
Which these are like two teenage girls, which is a really odd choice.
Yeah, like, again, it's not a bad movie, but it's not exactly a movie where you're like, yo, you coming up? Let's watch Blade Runner.
Yeah. Like, for me and Justin, that movie might be Fight Club or something, but...
Well, Fight Club is probably the most story-heavy we would go, but I would say we'd watch something like a horror movie or an action movie.
Exactly.
You know, something fun, like, it can be good, but also you're able to crack wise.
Yeah, this one's more of like a slow, like, kind of more of a slow-paced, surreal sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it's... Like, I hadn't seen the movie before I played Life is Strange, and then after playing, I was just like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, because he played Life is Strange for this, and then it hit him, why is this their favorite
movie? It's like saying, oh, you know what my favorite movie to watch with friends is? 2001 Space Odyssey. Right. We don't do drugs, by the way.
Yeah, totally don't do LSD or anything.
I thought about it for like 2 seconds after I said it. I was like, wait, unless you get high with your friends, then yeah, that makes total sense.
It was the 60s, man.
Actually, wait, what would it be like to watch Blade Runner while blazed out of your mind?
That would be interesting. I'd do it sometime.
Anyway, that tangent's over.
Yeah. But yeah, the original Blade Runner honestly still holds up really well. Like, I do recommend it, but the thing is, you really do have to kind of be in the right mood for it. It's not a movie you can just put on any time.
Yeah, most of the scenes shown are either the ending or when he's chasing the exotic dancer. Do not go in thinking this is an action movie.
No, it is not. Like, expecting more of like a slow, thoughtful, like almost a noir type movie. Honestly,
it is. It's one of the main movies people say is neo-noir. So,
yeah.
Okay, now for 2049.
Which Justin remembers even less. And I think
my god, I recall nearly nothing.
And I think you said beforehand, like, you think you were kind of like not focused enough to actually take it in.
That may be it. It may be. I just didn't like that type of movie. It was far too slow for me.
Yeah, which that's fine. Which that was something actually that I liked about it, because, and we'll talk about this after we talk about the movie, but like so many sequels that are made like 25 years after the fact are just terrible, and like a lot of those are really bad. Like the only exception I can think of off the top of my head is Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, which I actually quite liked. But this movie is not your normal Hollywood movie, but it definitely has the budget. It was directed. What else did the director do? I know he did.
He did Blade Runner 2049.
I thought he did something else.
He probably did.
Oh no, Denis Villeneuve.
What did he do?
He also did Sicario, surprisingly, really, and Arrival.
Huh.
He did Arrival. That was it.
Wait, I like that because going on Sicario, I didn't like I didn't like the last half, not because it was slow, but because the plot gets
Yeah,
stupid,
I was gonna say,
in my opinion.
I thought it was fine. I actually quite liked it, but yeah, it's
I had too many problems. But again, tangent for another day. There's a lot of foreshadowing for future
yes,
episodes
there is.
that'll
My
be
God,
like years down the line.
yeah, he's the same guy who did Arrival, which was another like slow, thoughtful sci-fi movie.
I'm gonna probably watch that in December.
Yeah, you told me about that, which is nice. But
yeah,
and he was also known for a movie called Prisoners. That's the other one I know him for.
I heard that's really good. Like
Yeah.
that's a really weird movie, but good.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was kind of the perfect choice to do that. And the cinematography was by Roger Deakins, who did a fucking fantastic job because this was a beautiful, beautiful movie.
I would have liked more color, but that's me.
Well, the thing is, like, a lot of it stood out more for me just because, like, there were more varied locations than the original. I do like that they didn't just straight up copy the original Blade Runner. They actually, like, it opens, like, instead of, like, heavy rain and stuff, it's, like, this heavy fog.
You go to Silent Hill in the countryside.
Pretty much. That would be interesting, a sci-fi Silent Hill. I would like that. Like, alien monsters? Ooh, shit. Ideas.
It's called Dead Space.
Damn it,
King.
you're right.
Actually, I'm not. First Dead Space is awesome.
It is. Wait, you're implying that it wasn't awesome?
I said in kind of a tone that made it sound... Anyway, different tangent. Fuck.
So many things we want to talk about at the moment, but we have to focus.
I do, because I know more about those things than I do Blade Runner 2049.
I know. And again, we apologize. Justin doesn't have much input. That's not due to choice. It's he literally doesn't remember much of this.
I literally have nothing to say, and I apologize.
Yeah. But yeah, Blade Runner 2049 stars Ryan Gosling as K.
Excuse me. Sexiest man alive, Ryan Gosling as K.
Ryan Gosling, aka the sexiest man alive as K.
There we go.
And he is also a Blade Runner. It opens with him like going to catch another replicant. And it's interesting because the opening scene to this movie, you know, where he runs into Dave Bautista, the wrestler, and that, and he like wrestles him through the thing.
I think that's what got my hopes up, and then the movie slows way down.
Yeah, that scene was actually written for the original Blade Runner, but they never implemented it. So it's really cool that that actually made it into the final cut of the movie.
Harrison Ford just wasn't pretty enough.
Yeah, he wasn't Ryan Gosling, who's the sexiest man alive.
Exactly.
But yeah, he takes him in, and like he talks about like you don't know miracles, you've never seen one and stuff, and I think he actually ends up killing him. So he goes outside and he's like investigating, and he notices like roses by a tree or something, and he's like, okay, because he has this little robot buddy that like kind of flies out of his flying cop car, and he's like, okay, yo, investigate that, and then he's like, okay, like can you monitor underground? And they find something buried there. Turns out that those are bones of a child. And they're like, oh yeah, it's child bone, blah, blah, blah. So he takes it back to inspect it. And they look, and they zoom in on like one of the bone fractures, and it turns out it has like a replicant ID. And it's like, wait a minute, a replicant child? Oh shit, replicants can, you know, have children?
I just thought, okay.
Yeah.
So the replicant has a child, and the child still has bones with numbers on it, like a replicant?
That's the thing that tips them off. I think it has like a barcode or numbers or something.
How the hell does that work? Does the replicant's vagina engrave it on all the bones?
No, I think it's just one bone. It's not all of them. But I guess so.
It's just so weird. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. And so the whole movie revolves around him trying to find out like who the child belongs to. So, and it's revealed pretty early on that Ryan Gosling's character Kay is a replicant, and he's a replicant.
I think it's said literally right after that scene.
Yeah, it's like said he's like, you know, like they have no
like he looks at the bones and then it shows him taking the replicant test.
Yeah, whichever test is. I think it's called something other than the Voight-Kampff test. It's called something else. And it's really weird.
Because in this one it's made to make sure he's still stable.
Yeah. And it just like fires a bunch of questions at him. It's really disorienting. It's like this. It's like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
complicated humor here.
But yeah, because she says something like, Ryan Gosling says something like, oh, like, they don't have any soul or something. And she's like, you've done pretty good with what? Having no soul. Something like that.
Rude.
Yeah. So yeah, he goes on this chase, but yeah, then it slows way down. Because that's the thing I really did like about this movie is that it expanded upon, it had the same feeling as the original while expanding upon it. The problem is the plot slows way the fuck down halfway through and then picks up more towards the end.
I will give it this, unlike most remakes, it captures the original without straight copying it.
Exactly, and it's still, you can tell it's still the same universe.
Also, I'd like to solidly say, even though I don't 100% like this movie, I won't say it's a bad movie. It's more of a movie that just wasn't for me.
Yeah. And then, so, and a lot of the slowing down doesn't even have to do with the main plot. A lot of it revolves around him and his wife, his quote-unquote wife, because he has, like, this holographic wife, and...
who is creepy as hell.
Yeah, it did have kind of this disorienting effect, didn't it? Because...
Before she is given a body, it's like, why?
And there's this really weird scene where, like, he hires a stripper and the wife, like, has the hologram over her. Like, she holograms on top of her.
Oh, yeah, that scene was weird.
Yeah, well, because he wants to fuck her, but she's a hologram, so she's like, okay, you can be her. And it's just like, But yeah.
I can't know if that was touching or sad.
Yeah, that was the thing. And I love how, like, they were super mean to each other too. It's like, well, you were me, but you weren't actually me, or something like that. It was just weird. And that's the thing, like, I didn't mind it upon first viewing because it kind of added to it, but upon second viewing, I was like, yeah, these drag on way too long here. But then the plot actually picks up, I think, as soon as he goes out to find Harrison Ford, who is in, like, this...
And he gets punched in the face.
Yeah, who is in this, like, super radiated part of, like, the city or something. Like, there's these weird...
He's got dog!
Oh, he's got doggo. It's funny, because, like, Ryan Gosling asks, he's like, is he real? And Harrison Ford's just like, I don't know, ask him.
What do you mean by that?
But yeah, freaking, that's when the movie starts picking back up because we find out it is Harrison Ford and, what's her name? I just said it.
His love interest from the last movie that we forgot
Rachel.
to mention in our synopsis. Whoops.
Rachel, yeah. And so,
why does my brain immediately go with Rachel from Friends?
I don't know.
I never even watched Friends. I don't know why it did that. Just felt I should share it with all of you. Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, and then it kind of comes together at the end because, like, the I guess what was Tyrell Corporation is now run by what's his name, Jared Leto, as, like, the blind guy who runs the company. You remember that?
Jared Leto was in this movie?
He was the main bad guy. He was the blind guy with the beard who was like, oh, he made the replicants.
Oh, Jared Leto played a creepy man who I'd want to see punched in the face.
Yeah.
Wow, he played himself.
Pretty much. But yeah, he was, let me see if I can find his name. Neander Wallace, I guess. They refer to him as Wallace in the movie, so... And his right-hand henchwoman is named Love. That I remember, because her name's literally just Love.
No, right-hand and henchwoman is named Gromit.
Damn it, you're right.
That would have been a very different movie.
Yes, it would have been. I feel like I should explain the plot more, but I'm trying to remember honestly how it goes because because we find out, like,
I forget. Did they want to kill Harrison Ford or research him?
I think they wanted to research him. Like, they don't outright. Well, I think they wanted to. I forget. It's not really explained well, honestly.
Because they tried to reclone his wife, and they're like, we can give it back to you.
Yeah.
Nope, just kidding.
No, because, like, he's like, we can do this. And then Harrison Ford's like, she had green eyes. You did it wrong. And he turns around, they just straight up shoot her in the fucking head.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. That was just darkly funny to me.
Yeah, I was just like, okay. Bang! It's like, fucking hell. But yeah, they end up. He goes to find Harrison Ford, but unfortunately leads the company that's looking for him to there as well. And so Harrison Ford gets captured, and Ryan Gosling's just beat up and left for dead.
But he's a robot, so it kind of didn't matter.
Yeah, it kind of didn't really matter. I do like that how he even
his
like
wife did die though in that scene.
Yeah, like because he brings his holographic wife along, and trust me, like you'll thank us for cutting a lot of the scenes with the wife out because that takes up probably half hour of the movie, honestly.
Yeah, there's a moment where they're in a scrapyard for some reason.
Yeah, they're in the scrapyard because they want to try to find out because there are a bunch of children there, and they want to see if the replicant child had come through there. And they have that whole thing with Ryan Gosling's character. He like finds the wooden horse he had been dreaming about.
Because that was his original version, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, something like that. You okay?
Yeah, I just dropped something.
Okay.
Fiddling.
But yeah, so they end up catching Harrison Ford and they're transporting him. But then Ryan Gosling, and there's this really cool chase scene that's like shot in the dark at the end, where in like the two different like flying cop cars where like they're transferring him and Ryan Gosling's chasing them, and then like they like shoot it down in the water, and there's this really intense fight scene where like the water's rising up and shit.
And Harrison Ford's chained to a chair. It's like, I'm gonna fucking drown. And Ryan Gosling's like, well, he punched me in the face, so...
So, I mean, you just hang in there a little bit longer, you asshole! But yeah, no, there's this cool fight scene, and then like they resolve it, and because he'd already obviously at that point they solved the mystery of whose child was it? Oh, it was Deckard's. So, but yeah, and then at the very end of the movie, Harrison Ford and Deckard go to where, because earlier he had met the girl who makes the dreams and the memories for the robots, and it turns out that was the daughter. And so Harrison Ford goes to see her, and Ryan Gosling brings there, and he's still injured, so he's kind of just bleeding out on the stairs outside. And he's like, go to her, and then he like collapses and looks up into the snow, and then they finally look at each other, and that's where the movie ends. So.
And then Justin looks at Cameron confused, like, I mean, it was okay, I guess.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I know I still, like I said, I found a couple problems rewatching it, but I still really like the movie, honestly. Again, like, the thing I love, again, is that it expanded upon the original while not copying it, and it did add kind of a central mystery, albeit one that solved a little too slow. They had to try to keep up the pacing a bit more.
Okay, to all people who want to direct. If you are going to make a 3-hour movie, please don't fill up too much with silence. Silence is nice. It can build character. It can tell a story. Don't overuse it, or it gets very dragging and annoying.
Don't make like half your movie have silence in it.
Unless you're a silent film, then, you're a silent film.
Well, there's still music in a silent film, not just silence.
Then why is it called a silent film? It's completely pointless.
Because there's no words. No one says anything.
That doesn't mean it's silent, fucking idiot.
But yeah, no, I still dug the hell out of it. And again, the cinematography, it's one of the most beautifully shot movies I've seen in recent years, honestly. I'd probably put it in my top 5 best shot of the year, from the year 2000 onwards.
Number 1 is Kong Skull Island.
It's up there. That one was really well shot.
It's so colorful.
It is. That's the thing about a lot of movies too, and I know it's just kind of a side thing, is why do you feel the need to drain color? Add color like Kong Skull Island did. It looked gorgeous.
Or even Annihilation. That also had a lot of good...
Yeah, that had a lot of good color.
Hey, if you haven't seen Annihilation, buy it on DVD and tell the studio to go screw itself, thanks.
Buy it on DVD or Blu-ray and tell the studio to go fuck itself. We'll probably talk about that if we review it, because that's another side tangent, and I don't want to get too far off topic. We'll talk about it at some point. Yeah. But yeah, Blade Runner 2049, I still quite honestly really liked. So again, I love the fucking cinematography in this. It's so fucking gorgeous.
I would tell you my opinion on it if I remembered it.
Yeah.
Which is not a positive thing to say.
I know. And again, I know I like slower. I'm more used, I think, to slower movies than you are. But yeah, I will admit that upon second viewing, it really dragged during certain sections.
Also, it didn't help that the first half we had the audio separate.
Yeah, that's right, because Justin has a 4K TV with like a surround sound system, and
I also live here, and there's glass windows, so you can easily break in.
Don't tell them that.
It's a joke.
I know, but But he has a 5.1 surround sound system, and the Blu-ray comes with 7.1 surround sound. So it was trying to play 7 speakers out of 5 speakers. So the music was really loud, but the dialogue was, oh, sorry, I just turned down my knob. But the music was really loud, and the dialogue was just like,
It was like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's just
I'm
like,
Ryan Gosling, touch my app.
Yeah, right. Which, I mean, I'm all for Ryan Gosling whispering in my ear, but
That's the best ASMR video.
yes. Oh my God, stop! I'm already getting an erection. But yeah, then I finally was like, okay, you know, I think I'm gonna switch this to 2.0 or something, and then they're like, oh my God, we can hear what they're saying.
Yeah, I thought I was rewatching Heat.
Yeah, right.
God,
No.
Heat is overrated, but that's another thing.
No, but yeah, that's the thing, is that it was not like Heat where they deliberately mumbled the whole thing. No, our audio was just set up wrong. That was our fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing about these movies is not really much to say about them other than I enjoy the hell out of them, but like I understand, like Justin, if you just think they're okay.
Yeah, which is also probably why this movie didn't do well. Not only is it like niche sci-fi, which even though Star Wars may make you think otherwise, sci-fi is still pretty niche with people. But it's also 3 hours, well, near 3 hours, and it's slow, which most majorities do not enjoy.
Yeah,
majority viewers.
Yeah, because the thing about, like, for fans of the original Blade Runner, this was just a gift wrap treat that we just ate up. For people, just a general sci-fi audience, like, or general audience, I can see why a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, also because no Ryan Gosling movie is allowed to be successful. It's just a fact.
Yeah, he's up for the Oscars again this year, which you know he's not going to win, though he deserves it.
Oh yeah, he's First Man. He was in the
he was
First
Neil
Man.
Armstrong.
Not gonna win.
Probably not going to win it. I would be surprised, honestly.
And watch, like, we'll eventually watch if he does win, we'll watch the First Man and be like, yeah, this is his best work.
Yeah, right? It's like, I'd rather watch 2049 again. It's 3.5 hours long. Or no, it's almost 3 hours long. I know. But
if I said that would mean it's really not a good movie. I'm sure First Man is fine. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I'm sure you're glad you watched it, but you probably wouldn't again, just do the length and stuff.
Do the length and be... Again, I don't think it's a terrible movie. It's just not for me. That will not stop me from making jokes about it, though.
Fair. But yeah, is there anything else other that you wanted to add? Like anything, like, because I'm going to go on a little thing up here about like the different versions of the original Blade Runner.
Oh, I was just going to talk about fucking remakes nowadays, because we get them every fucking year.
Let's do that first. Because that will actually give us
apparently
something to say.
Train Spying got a sequel, and that was good, but I haven't seen either Train Spying.
Same. I just know the scene with the creepy fucking baby on the ceiling.
Yeah, but... Like, you got Disney remaking every one of their fucking movies. And making them worse.
They really are, and I know a lot of people point this out for the Beauty and the Beast ones. Like, the original was like just normal length, an hour and a half, and it had better pacing, better character development, and anything than the new movie, which was like 2 hours.
Yeah, the original Beauty and the Beast was an Oscar-nominated movie, and you were like, "Oh, let's remake it."
Yeah, I think that's how like Nostalgic Critic introduced it. It's like, yeah, this award-winning movie. Let's redo it or something like that.
Yeah, seriously. Or let's remake Mulan with no music. Yeah. And versing a wizard instead of a war.
Instead of the Huns, which is fine. Why do you need to add a magical wizard in a story that really didn't have much magic in it?
Literally, war was the perfect reason for the message of become who you are, because it's a time when there's no reason to lie, you just have to succeed.
Yeah, exactly. And that talks about like humanizing the characters and stuff, but no, she's versing a wizard now.
What else is something that got like a sequel years later and it was fucking garbage? I'm trying to think, because these come out so often, it's tiring.
Yeah, let me look that up. Hold on.
Like, well, horror movies get remakes every fucking couple of years.
That's been
Friday the 13th, I didn't mind, honestly. That remake was okay.
Yeah, the thing is, like, when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is stupid. But in hindsight, like, seeing a lot of those horror remakes, like, you know what? This one wasn't too bad.
Nightmare on Elm Street one, for some reason, makes the pedophile part of Freddy Krueger like a main thing.
The new one, you mean?
Yeah, the remake, yeah.
Yeah.
Which in the other movies, I think they were going to, but due to certain things in the news, they didn't want to do due to, like bad taste.
Yeah, which is fair.
Which also, you know what? We can already hate Freddy Krueger. He doesn't have to be a child rapist.
Yeah, exactly.
Just he's already scary.
Yeah, because I think the original.
There's multiple Texas Chainsaw remakes that all sucked.
Yeah.
There was Last House on the Left got remade. It was terrible.
Oh yeah, like the original
Halloween remakes, not the most recent one apparently, but the Rob Zombie ones. Fuck Rob Zombie.
Yeah, we both kind of agree that we've never really been huge fans of it. Oh, a good one was Men in Black 3.
Men in Black 3, yeah, that was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
That didn't deserve to be good, but it was.
One of those things that didn't really deserve to be as good as it was, and that was one of the few ones that came out years later that was actually good.
There was the Ghostbusters remake, which was just uncreative. Like, they wanted to do something creative, but they were too scared to actually commit to it.
Yeah.
What the fuck else is...
It's becoming a thing, and it needs to stop becoming a thing.
And don't even get me started on fucking anime adaptations. I will fucking blow a gasket.
Yeah, no, we will save that, honestly, probably for a separate review.
But Blade Runner, even though I don't enjoy 2049, it shows how to do one of these sequels. You don't need to copy the original. If you have an idea that works in this world, go for it.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like, that's the thing that I liked about Last Jedi, is because for the longest time, like in Star Wars remakes, like they were so... Because, like you point out, they have this whole universe to explore, but we're still sticking to these characters. That's it,
Yeah, it was like, okay, in a galaxy far, far away, we're going to focus on one rebellion.
Yeah. It's like you have so many other interesting side stories you could do and all that. Adapt something from the extended universe, but no, it's just people. That's why I liked, like, when the new one, spoilers, it was revealed that, like, Rey was not related to Luke or anything, which I thought she was, but it's like, finally, we're getting away from this whole Skywalker legacy and making our own story.
But they ruined Luke Skywalker. We'll get to it, or we already got to it, depending on the order.
We will. This will come out before that. But yeah, it's just it was one of the few sequels that was done well. That's the thing. So
and then no one saw it, which was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, like you said, I can see why, but it's still disappointing. Not many people. It wasn't successful.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of more sequels. Oh god, they're going to do a Scream remake at some point.
You really think they are?
Of course they are. Well, Wes Craven's dead, so they can't say no.
It's like how, like...
I wonder if it will be worse than Scream 3.
I wonder. That just kind of reminds me how, like, right after Robin Williams died, they announced the Jumanji remake.
Which was apparently okay, I heard, actually.
Yeah, surprisingly.
But I'm not going to watch it purely out of principle. But yeah, if you're going to do something right, make sure you have a new... It doesn't even have to be 100% new. Like, they still connect to the original. But the problem is studios want to down themselves, being like, oh, if we don't mention the original every 20 minutes, then viewers won't like it. No, make something new so we can be like, oh, shit, you actually are trying.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing, too. It's like you don't even see Deckard or hear about him until 2/3 of the way through the movie, honestly.
or you see him 5 times in the trailer. But
yeah, that's the thing. Because yeah, you don't really see much of him until like more towards the end, which again was fine because like this is not the same story as Blade Runner. This is a different mystery focused on different characters that do
just in the same world.
That do become tied to the original eventually, but it's not like every 5 minutes they're winking at the camera. It's like, remember Deckard or something, or there's like copy shots and shit. No, this was its own thing, but it still felt it was the same universe, and that's how you do it well. Not like a lot of sequels nowadays. Ugh.
Now I'm just thinking of like a great way to describe it would be tour guide syndrome. Like, oh, the characters are walking through, and then it's like, hey, remember this place where Decker shot a woman through a pane of glass?
Yeah, right.
Really cool that we're here again.
Oh, look.
Wink.
It's the toy factory like in the original. Wink, wink.
Oh, look, it's those creepy toy bots again. Wink, wonk.
Yeah, but again, they didn't do that, which I was just so happy that so much care was put into this one, honestly.
Oh, Mad Max Fury Road. How can we fucking forget that? That was one of the good ones, too.
Hell yeah. Fury Road was fucking awesome.
So bitchin', it almost won an Oscar.
Yeah, I think it did win for Best Makeup, didn't it?
It might have.
Yeah. You said Incredibles 2 was alright.
Yeah, but that sequel's been in the works. It wasn't something. It wasn't something where it was like, oh, it's been 30 years.
The new Indiana Jones 4 was pretty good.
People will debate you on that. I won't. I think it's better than Temple of Doom.
I agree
Temple of Doom
that.
can suck it.
Again, I still like Temple of Doom, but it's the worst one easily.
That's Temple of Doom in 5 seconds. Just a constant screeching noise.
Oh my god. Dr. Jones! And then there's...
No, I didn't mind fucking Short Route. I would have taken a movie with just Indy and Short Route as long as Willie went the fuck away.
Fucking Willie was so annoying. He's like, Dr.
Shut the fuck up, woman.
Yeah, she is so annoying.
Okay, that sounded really sexist of me.
And Steven Spielberg ended up marrying her.
That's the only reason she got the role is because they were dating.
Honestly. Like, and the interesting thing is, I hate referencing this again, but I know Nostalgia Cricker interviewed it. He said that that Brad Jones, the cinema snob, he said he thought Willie in that was hilarious, and Rob was just like, no, I have to completely disagree. I think she's annoying as fuck. But yeah, no, I don't know. If you're not going to do it well, then just don't do it. If you're just going to remake the original, but just bad, just watch the original.
Yeah, or do what Kong Skull Island did and, do a new story. Like, it's still normal King Kong, but different.
Yeah, exactly.
Or do what Peter Jackson did and waste an hour of your time on a fucking boat.
Yeah, it's like
Why is that movie 3 hours?
There's no fucking reason. Like, it takes them an hour to get into the island as opposed to like the 10 minutes it does in Kong Skull Island.
No, it takes 5 in Skull Island. It takes 10 in the original, I want to say.
No, it's longer than that in the original. In the original, it's more.
It might be like 30. It's the first act at most.
No, yeah, exactly. Because have you seen the original?
I did, but it's been forever.
Yeah. But no, yeah, because see Kong Skull Island. That was an awesome movie.
And then forget, like everyone else, that Godzilla 2014 happened.
Yeah. Though the new Godzilla looks really good, I will say. Again, it's the same guy who did...
Or watch Shin Godzilla.
Or watch Shin Godzilla if you want a good Godzilla movie. But yeah, Kong, again, I feel bad that we're kind of devolving into like, go see Kong Skull Island, but we're done talking about Blade Runner.
Yeah, we're just talking about remakes.
Yeah.
Unless you want to talk about all different versions on DVD, because there's for some reason like 5 of these.
Yeah, that was one of the things that's interesting about it, and I think I'll end it on like this discussion here, because the original Blade Runner really didn't. Ridley Scott didn't really have full creative control over it, and the original theatrical version wildly differed because. You know the scene where like he's in like on like playing something on the piano and he has that like weird dream about the unicorn?
Yeah.
That version was not in any other version except, I guess, the final cut, just because he didn't like how it turned out because the horn on the unicorn apparently like flopped around, and he didn't have the technology to change that until recently, so he just stabilized the horn, and that's when he left it in, because a lot of scenes either had the unicorn dream and cut out the love scene between him and her, or had the love scene between him and her and cut out the unicorn dream. And
I want to see the floppy horn now.
Yeah, right. And the Final Cut was the only version that incorporated that. But in the original U.S. theatrical release, there was this really annoying thing about, because you know how the movie is more dreamlike and it kind of explains itself.
Mm-hmm.
The studio forced Harrison Ford to do these shitty voiceovers for it, explaining what was going on.
Really, guys?
Yeah, and you could tell that Harrison Ford was totally half-assing it. If you listen to it, he's just like, "Well, I'm a Blade Runner. I'm doing this," blah, blah, blah. Just in that tone. And he like narrate, like when the lady gets shot through the window, he like comes, he's like, "It was then I knew the blah 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 blah."
Oh my god! Hey, do you have a problem seeing what film is trying to tell you? Luckily, we have the theatrical cut.
Yeah, and that was just painful in that. And that also had a tacked on happy ending. Because, you know, it ends like on a very thought-provoking note that isn't negative, but like, you know, they go to the door and he knocks over the unicorn thing, and like he looks back and it's just like, okay, then they go down the elevator and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The theatrical cut to like scenes of these green rolling hills. It's like, we moved in together and blah blah blah.
It ends like Brazil.
Yeah, it has this tacked on happy ending, except it isn't a dream. This is just a happy ending. Because that was the only version available on a streaming service, so I did watch that, and then I watched the final cut, and I'm like, wow, this is so much better.
And then we moved in together. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And then it's interesting because a lot of the like brutal violence was cut out for the theatrical release. So there was also
I thought this was released in the 80s.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And then there was the international release, which included like 3 more violent scenes, because I think him like breaking his fingers and a lot of blood was cut out of that or something. Mm-hmm. But in the international release, that was included in that. And then in the final cut, he kind of mixed that all together. Excuse me. But then in 1991, there was something called the director's cut, quote unquote, that was prompted by an unauthorized theatrical. I'm looking on the Wikipedia now because the story behind it is kind of interesting here. Let's see. Yeah, in October 1989, Eric discovered a 70mm print of Blade Runner in the vaults while searching for footage for Gypsy. Sometime later, the print was rediscovered by 2 other film preservationists in the same vault while searching for footage for The Alamo. And like it was an earlier version of that. It was like a work print version or something. So. And so he kind of, I guess they ended up finding the original negatives and stuff, and he ended up actually cutting it together. Because let me see. Yeah, and then he like rearranged the scenes and actually made it how he actually wanted it, and that ended up being the final cut. So,
huzzah!
Yeah, this just was infamous for going through a lot of hell, and when Ridley Scott was actually finally be able to get his original vision for it out. So but yeah, I have actually the original Blu-ray set before I got the 4K remastered version. The original Blu-ray set includes all 5 of the alternate cuts, so it's just interesting to kind of watch that and analyze it. But yeah, so that was just all the different cuts of Blade Runner. It's infamous for being like that. So,
well, luckily the final cut is usually the only one available, it seems. So
yeah, that's the one that has been made more widely available because it's, you know, good, and you know Ridley Scott's like, yeah, that's the version I wanted. Thank you. Finally, after how many years? Yeah, that was released in 2007, and the original was released in 1982.
And then the studio wondered after fucking ruining the film, why did not many people see it? Why is it becoming a cult classic?
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like our version was not that good. But yeah, so that was Blade Runner, and surprisingly, I guess we had less on it than we wanted to say. It only this is only a little under an hour at the moment, and that's not including all the shit at the beginning. So, hell yeah. Now, Gravity Falls, that will take forever.
Yeah, you may have realized that episodes haven't come out
Sorry about that, guys.
In I think it's Suspiria.
No, those will be out by now because these are being released.
No. I'm saying in Suspiria, I said something like, "Oh, we could totally finish the wheel." We didn't finish the wheel.
We didn't. I'm sorry.
We didn't. College got really complicated.
Yeah,
had job stuff
really
to do.
Stressed him out.
So
we're sorry. Again,
we're sorry.
At least we're still
and there were
releasing
computer troubles and stuff. It's complicated.
But at least we're still releasing stuff on a somewhat regular basis, maybe once a month, but we're still releasing stuff.
Yeah. So I'm assuming next year will be the Gravity Falls episode, unless you want to release it another time.
I don't know, because we haven't even recorded it yet at this point. So...
Shh, don't tell them that.
Oh, sorry. I mean, yep, totally did.
Yeah, at some point. So
yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I don't think
thank you so much for sticking with us for this year. If you did, so
we appreciate it.
Me.
But yeah,
we will see you next year with some new shit. Hopefully on a at least monthly schedule.
Yeah, we'll try. We will try.
Blame Cameron if not.
Bye.
Bye.